Hey, what's going on, folks? Welcome back to the Real Legend of Gaming. We are back with some Clash Royale, folks, and in this episode of Everything Royale, we will be discussing the upcoming balance update on July 2nd. So let's check it out, folks. Alright, so with the upcoming balance changes, as always, the whole idea is to make changes to cards that have an extremely high win rate or just need to function better inside the current meta. So if a card's not used too much, you'll usually see it get a buff. If a card is just being used excessively and it's becoming a point where if you don't have that card in your deck, you're gonna lose, then they usually nerf it, right? That's the general idea around these changes. So with that in mind, folks, we're gonna start with the balance changes that are coming up on July 2nd. So the first nerf will be for the rascals, which is pretty expected, right? Because the card is fairly new, and usually when the cards come out, you know, they either are too OP or not strong enough. But with the Rascals case, they were a little OP. So the change that's gonna happen is the Rascal Boy will get a hit point reduction of minus 5.3%. And then the Rascal Girls will have their first attack happen slower. So this will allow them to still have value, you know, because they're 5 elixir, but they'll still be usable. However, the Rascal Knight, right, you could say he's like a knight, will have less HP, while the girls will shoot a little bit slower on the first shot. So I don't think that's too drastic of a change. I think the Rascals will still be usable in decks. The next change, and I know there'll be a lot of people upset by this one, the mortar is getting a nerf. So the mortar's area damage is going down by 3.5%. and the hit points is going down by 4%. So because the mortar is only 4 elixir and it has incredible range, it becomes a very good card for chip damage, and it's become a more popular choice than the X-Bow. So the whole idea is because now with the extended time in matches, the mortar has become even more powerful, right? Because in double elixir time, this thing only costs 2 elixir to throw down, and if you have your cheap support units to protect it, like your Mega Minion and your Knight, or even your 1 elixir Skellies, this thing is dropping down as much as possible. So this was a good change, I think. Next up is a buff. I was a little surprised by this one, to be honest with you. The Witch is getting a buff, and a pretty good one. The hit points is going up 17%. Spawn speed is increasing from 7 seconds to 5, and the hit speed is getting nerfed a little bit. It's going to be 0.7 seconds. It's going to go slower down to 1 second. The reason why I'm surprised with this, because I actually have been seeing the Witch come up a lot over the last week. I've been seeing a lot of giant beatdown decks with the Witch and the Hog. That has become like really meta recently. So with the Witch getting a hit point increase, this is going to be bananas. And I can tell you right now, you're going to see a lot of more giant beatdown decks with the Witch, and you're going to see a lot of Golem double Witch decks. I'm probably going to use the Golem double Witch with the Lumberjack, and I won't say the rest because I do want to do a meta deck prediction. But folks, it's going to be crazy. And next up is the Fire Spirits. The Fire Spirits are getting an area damage increase of 5%. So this damage buff will make Furnace a bit more threatening. As you guys know, with this change, it'll be, you know, used to counter against the Miner, which I've seen it used that way. And it also will allow Fire Spirits to destroy the Flying Machine, which the Flying Machine has been a pretty good card. Next change, which kind of been a long time coming for this one, the Bomber is getting a range increase of 4.5 to 5. So the Bomber basically could throw his bombs a little bit further, and he'll be great behind tanks. This change has been discussed for a very long time. I mean, no one really uses the Bomber, so at least now we'll be able to see this card being used in our ladders and maybe even challenges. I mean, for 3 elixir, the ladder is a pretty decent card, especially against spawner troops. It could do a good amount of damage, and with this increase here, the radius is a little bit bigger. It should be able to put in some more work. Now the next change I'm very saddened about, because this is my favorite card. If you guys have been watching me on this channel, then you guys know that I usually call this card the Meta Minion. So the Mega Minion is gonna hit speed reduction. It's gonna go from 1.5 seconds to 1.6. So when broken down, it equates to basically a change that will affect it more defensively. So it won't be able to get in the extra swipe when attacking defensively. However, when it's going up against an unprotected tower, it'll still get in 2 hits. So that's pretty good. But as far as like throwing this behind a tank and being able to tornado your troops towards the mega minion, that hit speed is going to be slower. So it will affect us some bit. I don't think it's extremely crazy, but they felt like the mega minion was extremely used in a high dosage as far as decks. So it kind of makes sense, right? I mean, for 3 elixir, this card was the best card in the game, I think, overall. Next is the goblins. The goblins have been changed a lot over the last month, and I think finally this change here might be sufficient enough to get it right. So the hit speed is, my mistake, the hit points is going down 1%. So basically with this here, minions will be able to kill goblins with 2 hits. And that's at every level. So I think this is good. I don't expect any more changes with the goblins. I think they finally got it right. Now, a few other things that would change. These weren't balance changes. This is more like way of life changes, you could say. The giant snowball and the royal hogs will now be added to Clan Wars for the collection day card pool. And for the draft sets, it will be updated to greatly reduce the chance of getting too many buildings or targeting troops in the same draft. So those changes are good and they make sense. As you guys can see, Clash Royale, they're coming out with more updates and changes as often as they could. And, you know, one can only hope for a better future for the game. Remember, the summer is coming up. You know, they do go on a break. And as of right now, the only thing I hear for the September update is some changes to emotes and a couple other changes. Nothing for a tournament so far. And there won't be any heroes. So, you know, just cross your fingers. Let's hope that we can get through this summer in one piece, folks. And again, I feel pretty good. These changes here make sense, and there might be another balance change coming up. Let's see. But other than that, folks, pretty excited, and I'm looking forward to see what you guys think about the meta. How is it going to change? What do you think about the balance changes? Drop those comments down below. And during the week, we will work on a meta deck prediction. And also, I'll share with you a deck that I worked on during the week that I didn't get a chance to do a video for it, but I still think it works well with these balance changes as well. I've just been real busy trying to just shape up the state of the channel. I've been trying to focus on a couple games over a span of a couple of days so that you guys can get, you know, good idea of different great mobile games that are out there. In the event that maybe Clash Royale just isn't working for you right now, you know, together we can discover other games together that work very well, and it gives you good exposure to what's out there in the mobile market and also the Nintendo Switch, right? So other than that, folks, really appreciate the support always. Thank you very much. If it's your first time checking me out, then be sure to hit that like and that subscribe button for more mobile gaming on this channel, all right? Peace out, folks.